If your friends don't support your business, it's probably because your business sucks. Now, I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but in today's video, I'm going to break down for you why oftentimes friends, family don't actually support your business. And it's not the reason that you think. So let me say this, right? Because Jesus did say in the Bible, a prophet is not without honor except in his own hometown. What does that mean? Sure, a lot of people, a lot of friends, a lot of family are not going to support your business simply because it's you, all right? Because you came from the same neighborhood, because, they've seen you grow up. They remember you for all of your failures and who you were not, right? But a lot of times people can't see the calling that God has on your life, right? And so yes, in some cases, in many cases, these so-called friends and family are not going to support your business simply because it's you. Some of them don't want to see you win. Some of them don't want to see you win because A is going to shine a light on them and what they could have been doing, right? But that's not what I'm talking about in this video. I'm talking about like really and truly when you do have people that perhaps may be supportive, when you do have friends and family who you pitch your business to. It can be that you're selling a product for a company. It can be that you're an entrepreneur and you have your own products and services. Maybe you have a service-based business or a product-based business, right? But at the end of the day, they're not supporting you, right? And you feel like, oh, this is messed up. They don't support me. Listen, they are right to not support you. Okay, they are right to not support you. Now, as someone who's entrepreneur, business owner, I've been in sales for over 30 years of my life. Whenever I try to sell a new product or a service or I start a business, the first people that you go to are your friends and family, right? Because these are people who know, hopefully right? And hopefully trust you, right? So it's the easiest barrier of resistance. It's what they call a warm, sometimes hot lead, a hot market, right? So before you go and you test on strangers, you go and you test on your friends and family. And oftentimes they don't support you. Now, that could be a byproduct of the fact that maybe your product isn't really for them, okay, and they know that, in which case they're justified to not buy, right? If it's not for them, like, why would you take their money as their friend, okay? But most of the time it's because your product, your service actually doesn't deliver them value. It's not something that improves their life. It's not something that they need. It's not something they actually have a demand for. And so now, instead of you actually having a product or service that solves a problem in the marketplace specifically for this so-called friend or family, now you're just trying to get them to basically be a charity case, right? You want them to support your business for the relationship. You want them to give you money for something that they don't really need or want. Okay. And that's why they're justified in not buying. Now, what does that mean? Let's look at it this way, right? Like if you're watching this video right now, you're seeing this on some form of social media. Maybe you're watching this on YouTube. Maybe someone shared this with you directly through text. Maybe you're seeing this on another platform of social media, right? But here's the thing. Imagine, for example, like many of us use social media. We use Facebook, we use Instagram, we use TikTok, right? We use YouTube, we use Google, we use ChatGPT, we use all these different technological tools, right? Imagine that you had invented one of those. Imagine that you had invented Facebook. Imagine that you had invented Instagram. Imagine that you had invented TikTok. Imagine that you created a Tesla. You created, Amazon. You created the iPhone, right? Apple. Okay. Maybe Tesla's not a good example because not everyone is into electric vehicles, and that's cool, right? But when you think about these other big companies, Apple, Amazon, who everyone, uses, um, if you had invented one of those businesses or companies, I feel pretty confident that your friends would support your business. I'm pretty sure that if you had invented Apple, if you had invented the iPhone, right? All your friends would be like, they're not gonna not buy the iPhone because you invented it. In fact, they would probably be bragging to their friends, like, hey, my best friend invented Apple, my best friend invented Facebook. And I promise you, if you had invented these things, they would use these products. They would be on your platform. They would be buying an iPhone and all the such, right? Maybe you don't have to invent iPhone. Maybe you're the person that makes really cool iPhone screen protectors or iPhone cases, right? And it's like, oh, my friend has the dopest cases for my phone. The reason that they don't support your business is because business is not charity. Okay, business is not charity. You have to stop expecting people to give you their hard-earned money for something that doesn't actually improve their life. Instead, you should focus all your energy on understanding your consumer, understanding your product, understanding the market, and understanding the problem that you actually solve. Because let me tell you something, people are not sold. No one has ever been sold anything. You hear people say all the time, oh, I don't want to be salesy. I don't want to be salesy. When people say that, that's a clear indication to me that they don't even know what sales is. Sales is service. Sales is service. What do I mean? When some people are not sold on stuff, people buy stuff. The only time that you feel sold to, the only time that you feel salesy is when someone is trying to convince you to get something that you don't need. When they're so obsessed with their commission, with their margins, with their profit, that they completely overlook the fact that this product is not for you. Whenever I'm in a business, whenever I have a product or something to sell, like I said, the first people that I try to sell are my friends and family. But if they say no, cool, right? It's one of two things. It's either they, in their estimation, they don't need this product or service, in which case they don't need to be spending money on it, right? They don't need to be giving me money because I'm not a charity, I'm a businessman. But it's usually because, right? And I just chalk it up to the fact that if, in fact, it is something that I know that they need and they don't buy, then I just chalk it up to the fact like, listen, bro, I did not deliver enough value. I was not able to uncover the value of this product or service in a way that's so clear that they have no choice but to buy. And I'll show you what I mean right now. You see, people don't buy things because they see the value. People buy things because the perceived value far exceeds how much the product or service costs. For example, if I was to say to you, hey, I'll give you $1 and you give me $1 back, you would be like, well, what's the point of that? Right? It's like keep your dollar and I keep my dollar. There's no value being exchanged. Okay. Or worse, if I was to tell you, hey, give me $1 and I give you nothing back in return, you'd be like, what do I look like? A sucker, like a charity? Like just tell me you need money. Okay. But here's the thing. If I was to say to you, listen, if you give me $1, I'm going to give you back $10. Now, how many of your friends and family would take that offer? If they have a brain, pretty much all of them would. Why? Because now you're giving them something that's 10 times more valuable than the single dollar that they're paying you. So the reason that your friends and family don't support your business is because you have not been able to uncover that the value of your product and service is way more valuable than the money in their pocket. And if you could do that, if you figure out the pain points, if you figure out that they actually need this, they will gladly part with the money in their pocket. You see, people are not sold, people buy stuff. People listen, if you walk into a store, let's say that you're a musician, let's say you're into drums, right? And you walk into a Sam Ash or a Guitar Center and you don't have no money, right? And a salesperson comes up to you and is like, hey, how you doing? You need anything? You're like, no, I'm good. I'm good. Why? Because you don't have the ability to buy. But you do desire the drum kit, right? You do desire the drum kit. You do desire the sticks, like whatever it is that you're there for. Maybe it's a metronome, maybe it's a head case, maybe it's a stool. I don't know. But you do desire it. You just don't have the ability or resources to buy. But now let's flip that on its head. Let's say that you've been saving up for this drum kit, right? Or that you were like, hey, when I get paid this week, I'm buying this drum kit and then I can, start a band or whatever it is. You would walk into that Sam Mash or Guitar Center or whatever, you would walk in with a completely different posture. You would walk in looking for a salesperson, right? To help you, get the drum kit that you look for so they can get it from the back so that you can buy it. All right, because people are not sold. People buy things that they know that they want. The clothes that you're wearing right now, nobody sold you that clothes. You're wearing that shirt because perhaps you like it. You're wearing those shoes because you like it. No one sold them to you. You went into the store specifically to buy those things. Like I said, the only time that people feel salesy and sold to is when you're trying to push a product or convince somebody to get something that really doesn't either solve their problem or you have failed to uncover the value. All right. So instead of asking people to your friends and family to support your business, right? Instead of treating your business like it's some type of charity or church, instead build something so amazing that they will feel stupid not buying. I hope this message blesses you. Peace.